Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. So today we're really getting into something I think, well, it probably hits close to home for a lot of us listening. You know that feeling, right? You spot this incredible opportunity. Could be an investment, maybe a career shift, even just a new project idea. And you think, okay, this is it. But then you pause. Maybe you just hesitate for a moment. You start, turning it over in your head, maybe overthinking it, waiting for that perfect time that never quite seems to arrive. And just like that, poof, the window's closed. The opportunity, that potential, it just evaporates. If that sounds a little familiar, then this deep dive is definitely for you. We're looking at money, love, speed, why hesitation is costly.
Oh, absolutely. And, while the title says money, this really goes so much broader. The research we've looked at, the behavioral economics, the case studies, it's not just about finance, not at all. It really reveals something fundamental about action versus inaction and how that choice shapes, well, pretty much everything in our lives.
Yeah.
As we unpack this, I think you'll start to see how moving decisively, it's not just about potential gain. It's about avoiding regret, maximizing your experience, really.
Yeah.
Expect some genuine aha moments today about the hidden price tag on waiting.
That's a really key point because our sources, they consistently frame opportunities as, well, fleeting. They're not permanent fixtures. They use these great analogies like comparing money and opportunity to moving water. It flows, it's dynamic, it needs direction.
But not like something sitting safely in a vault.
Exactly. But so many of us, we treat these chances like a train that's just going to sit at the station waiting for us to get our act together, blowing its whistle patiently. But the reality is, and the sources are blunt about this, if you hesitate, that train leaves the station.
It won't wait. Simple as that.
And what we're going to explore is how being fast, it isn't necessarily reckless. Often it's actually the most calculated approach. Okay, so let's really dig into this main idea. Money loves speed. The case studies, the market analysis we've reviewed, they show again and again, this isn't just some catchy phrase. It's almost like a law of physics in competitive spaces.
It really seems that way, doesn't it?
Think about really successful people or innovative companies. Did they wait for years, polishing every single detail, agonizing over every tiny decision before they made a move?
The evidence suggests no. Quite the opposite, actually.
Right. They moved, they acted, they jumped on things, and here's the kicker, the counterintuitive part. They often did it before they had the perfect, fully detailed plan.
They embraced imperfect action.
Exactly. Making decisions quickly, adjusting as they went.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for this absolute certainty that, let's be honest, rarely exists.
And that's such a contrast to the people who get stuck, who delay, who ponder, and end up missing the very opportunities they were trying to line up perfectly.
Yeah, and what's really clear from the research is it's less about just raw speed, like being frantic, and more about a mindset, a bias towards action. Informed action, yes, but action nonetheless. This whole idea of waiting for the perfect moment, our sources basically call it out as a self-imposed barrier.
A psychological hurdle.
Precisely. Often it's just procrastination dressed up as prudence,
No.
The people who really make things happen, they don't wait for the perfect moment. They create the moment.
They make their own luck, so to speak.
In a way, yes, they understand that opportunity rarely arrives neatly packaged, without any ambiguity. The act of seizing it, even when you don't have all the answers, that's what builds momentum. That's what reveals the next step.
It's a proactive stance. Action as a way of learning, not waiting until you've learned everything before acting.
Exactly. A dynamic process, not a passive wait. And the costs of not doing that, the costs of hesitation, the sources we looked at are almost brutally honest about this. They really hammer home these points. Things like every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, someone else starts today. Oof.
That one hits hard.
It does. And every time you wait for the perfect moment, someone else creates it. This isn't just, a philosophical point about missed chances. It's presented as a direct competitive reality.
Yeah, while you're stuck in analysis paralysis, someone else is moving.
And by the time you finally feel ready, maybe the market's shifted, the funding's gone, that unique window you saw, it's just
Close.
slam shut. Yeah. It's a stark picture of potential just evaporating because of inaction. And if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture of someone's life. It's not just about missing that one specific deal or chance. It's how this pattern, this habit of delaying actually compounds over time.
The cumulative effect. Exactly. Our behavioral studies point to this constant pattern of small hesitations. Each one seems minor, maybe insignificant on its own, but add them up over years, decades. And they can lead to this really pervasive, gnawing feeling that, life passed you by.
Yeah.
It's the sum total of hundreds of tiny all-wait moments, each one closing a little door, diverting your path slightly, until you look back and realize maybe your career, your life's work, your experiences, they aren't quite what they could have been.
And it's subtle, right? Not usually one big failure, but this slow erosion of potential.
That's exactly it. The subtle erosion is often harder to pinpoint, and maybe even more damaging in the long run.
Okay, let's make this really concrete. There's a classic example that pops up in a few of the case studies. Picture two people. They both spot the same investment opportunity. Let's say it's an early stage tech company, looks promising. Person number one, let's call her Sarah. She sees it, does some quick homework, not exhaustive, but enough feels the potential, and acts. Puts in, say, $1,000.
Okay. Quick decision.
Pretty quick. And let's say the company takes off faster than expected, early traction, good buzz. Her $1,000 triples in value relatively quickly.
A nice outcome.
Now, contrast that with Mark. He sees the exact same opportunity. But Mark, he hesitates. He wants more opinions. 10 different experts. Weeks of deep dive research. Wants every I dotted, every T crossed. Absolute certainty.
Ah, the quest for perfect information.
You got it. And by the time Mark finally feels, quote unquote, ready to invest.
Let me guess. Too late.
Exactly. The funding round closed. The valuation shot up. The early entry point, gone. Vanished.
That example, it really crystallizes the point, doesn't it? When you look at Mark.
Yeah.
That hesitation cost him, well, everything in that specific instance.
Right. Not just the 1,000 he might have put in.
No, it's the initial 1,000 plus the 2,000 in potential gains he missed out on. The whole upside.
The direct financial hit is crystal clear there.
It really is. And it shows how doing nothing in action can sometimes be way more costly than making a decision that turns out to be wrong.
That's a great point. A wrong decision, at least you often learn something, right? You get feedback.
Exactly. You get data points for next time. But pure inaction, often all you get is regret, a permanently lost chance, and maybe not even a lesson learned.
And building on that idea of the cumulative effect you mentioned earlier, what's really striking is how the sources emphasize this isn't just about money. It's not just finance or investing.
No, it's much broader.
They explicitly say this principle, money loves speed, well, it applies to business, fitness, even relationships.
That's fascinating. How so?
Well, think about it. That big business decision you put off, maybe a competitor grabs the market share while you're deliberating.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Or like a new fitness goal. You keep saying, I'll start Monday, right? You lose that initial motivation, miss out on the early compounding results that build the habit.
The momentum is lost before it even begins.
Or even personally. That tricky conversation you need to have with someone. Hesitate, put it off. And a small issue maybe grows into a much bigger problem.
Right. Delay doesn't usually make those things easier.
So it's not just about dollars and cents. It touches almost every area. Makes you wonder, as you're listening, where might this be playing out in your own life right now?
Exactly. That universality. The idea of strike when you see momentum. It's a constant theme in the materials we reviewed. It really is about overall life effectiveness, building agency, taking control. When you delay, you don't just miss that one chance. You miss the chance to build momentum itself. You miss the feedback that comes from actually doing something.
You miss the chance to adapt based on real-world results.
Precisely. And the psychological weight of regret. Living with all those what-ifs from missed chances, that's a heavy burden. And those moments, whether they're financial or professional or personal, once they're gone, they're usually gone for good. It chips away at your confidence, too.
Which brings us right to the core issue, doesn't it? What's really underneath all this hesitation? Why do we do it? And again, the sources we looked at, they don't really pull any punches on this. They state it pretty bluntly. Waiting is just another form of fear.
Wow. That cuts deep.
It really does. It reframes something we might label as caution or due diligence or planning and connects it directly to a very basic, very powerful emotion. Fear.
And what's fascinating then is how they define the cost of that fear. One source puts it incredibly powerfully. Fear, left unchecked, is the most expensive tax you'll ever pay.
The most expensive tax. That's a powerful metaphor.
Isn't it? Think about it. This isn't a tax you pay to the government. It's a tax you pay in the currency of your own life.
Paid in. What? Missed opportunities?
Missed opportunities, absolutely. Stagnation. Potential that just withers on the vine. It shows up in the projects you never start, the ideas you never pitch, the dreams you don't pursue, maybe even connections you don't make.
And beyond the stuff you don't get, there's a mental cost too, right?
Oh, definitely. The mental burden of inaction, the constant what-ifs, the regret, the way it erodes your self-trust when you consistently let chances slide. It's a heavy, often silent price. And the irony is, it's often fear of dangers that aren't even real, just perceived.
Okay, so if this deep dive has made anything clear, it's that the problem, hesitation, fear, inaction, is significant. But the sources also point towards a solution, a path forward. The collected wisdom really offers a strong call to action. It keeps circling back to that core message. Money loves speed.
Fortune doesn't wait.
Exactly. Opportunities don't ask for permission. It's like a rallying cry, isn't it? To embrace decisiveness.
Be fast, be bold.
Yes, execute now because hesitation costs more than failure ever will. That's the actionable bit. It's about realizing that the risk of doing nothing, letting fear win, that risk is often far, far greater than the risk of doing something, even if that something isn't perfect right out of the gate.
Launch the MVP. Have the conversation. Take the small step.
Right, because the alternative, staying put, that's where the real cost lies.
And that really highlights the huge benefit of shifting your mindset this way. When you learn to move with decisiveness, even if imperfectly, as the sources say, you gain this incredible edge, almost an unfair advantage.
How so?
Well, they put it colorfully. You effectively lap the people still standing at the starting line.
Ah, I like that image.
It's vivid, right? And it's about so much more than just, getting ahead financially or in business. It's about genuine personal growth, building resilience, cultivating real confidence that comes from acting, not just thinking.
Experiencing life with a sense of agency.
Exactly that. When you consciously push past hesitation, you open yourself up, you learn, you adapt, you grow, you thrive in a world that's constantly changing anyway.
So, quite a journey today. We've really dug into why speed, why decisiveness are so critical, and how hesitation, so often just fear in disguise, really acts like the most expensive tax you can pay. We've seen opportunities aren't waiting trains, they're fast-moving water. We've seen how successful people tend to act fast, even with imperfect information.
And we look at the costs, the concrete financial ones, like Mark missing his investment.
And that more subtle cumulative cost, that feeling of life may be passing you by because of repeated small delays.
Indeed. And if all this material we've explored today really points to hesitation being that most expensive tax, I'd like to leave you, the listener, with a question to really chew on. Think about it. Right now, in your life, what's one area where you might be unknowingly paying that hesitation tax? Maybe you're calling it being careful or waiting for the right time. And then ask yourself, what is one small, immediate action, something you could do this week, maybe even today, to effectively claim that tax refund back for yourself?
Just one small, immediate action.
Just one. Start there.
That's a really powerful thought to end on, because that immediate action, however small, that's the antidote, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and maybe most importantly, after today, keep moving forward with purpose.